looking live at Game Time Studios here on a Tuesday afternoon on the West Coast. I am one of your hosts for today, the Outlaw John Rocha, joined as always by the biggest Cowboy fan on the planet. Must be so excited for what's going on for his 2-0 Cowboys, and the creator of Law & Order Sports VU, I think it is, the Winston A. Marshall. How are you, Winston?
It's our year, fool. This is it. This our year, fool. I'm not gonna win. I'm not trying to jinx this, but I will be honest. We have looked good in the past. I don't think I personally have ever been this excited for a Cowboy team. There's something uniquely special about how they're playing right now. I know it's against two teams that are potentially sus, with no Aaron Rodgers on the Jets and with the Giants potentially looking a little fraudulent. Sure, they won. There's something in the air, man. There's something in the air, even to the point where the haters are having to be like, shit, they do look kind of good though. You know what I mean? So, hey,
you've been around the league long enough. You sense a little excitement or magic around certain teams, and it seems like you don't see the normal step on their own toes, luckily survive, overcome Dak Prescott mistakes kind of Cowboys. This defense is so dialed in. Dak seems to have really come into his own now with his power and his abilities as a quarterback, and these Cowboys look good. We're going to get into the game for sure, but yeah, I don't think you're wrong to start to feel like this is one of those teams to beat here in the NFC. And I think your game against the Eagles coming up, I think that's going to be a real
I think we play the Niners. I think we play the Niners first, and I think that would actually be probably the biggest, in my opinion. Not that the Eagles aren't good; the Eagles are good, but the Eagles don't look like the Eagles of last year to me. They look like clearly their defense has shifted a little bit.
Yes,
it's not quite as dominant as it was. Even Hurts looks a little tired. I don't know if that's like Super Bowl hangover, or not, but I'm not really personally scared of the Eagles. The only team that is giving me pause in all of the NFL right now is the Niners. And even that, Brock Purdy ain't played a defense like this, bro. I am very curious to see how he holds up against Micah Parsons up his ass all game.
I mean, figuratively is what
figuratively.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, just figuratively.
Figuratively. That's it. It's just doing his little crawl dance over him over and over again,
I want to tell you all, thank you very much for joining us here for week 2. We are excited diving into the NFL games and some other sports subjects that are going on in the world of sports. As I remind you all, we haven't got to 1,000 subscribers on this particular channel yet, so we don't have super chats available, but Streamlabs are available. It's there in the on the graphic there. It's also in the description of the video. I'm going to pin it in the chat in just a second. So if you want to send in your support, send in your love, we would appreciate it. So we come back every week, keep doing this show. It would be great to have your support financially on that side of things as well. And I want to apologize to anybody who was offended by last week. There will be no pornography on this particular episode of Game Time. There will be accidental pornography.
You sure?
Yes, I'm committed.
Did it get pulled? What happened?
No, I don't know how it squeaked by, but it squeaked by. Literally, maybe it was because it was only for a couple of seconds and I was screaming over it. But yeah, I don't want to have any kind of problems or any issues with that. So I just want to let you all know.
Some people already, I'm leaving.
Sean's already leaving. Sorry. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's not waste any time because we're trying to keep this to 90 minutes today. But let's jump into it, man. The big story coming out of last night. Look, two of those games, they weren't really that barnstorming or that important. But the Steelers did beat the Browns last night. The Saints went to 2-0 against the Panthers. David Carr era starting out positively for the Saints. But on the Steelers-Browns side of things, Deshaun Watson ended up getting 2 face mask penalties and shoved the ref, which we'll take a look at. But the big story is Nick Chubb, man. This is such a sad story coming out. Well, we're going to talk about Saquon a little bit later, but Nick Chubb certified this morning out for the season. He hurt the same knee that he hurt years ago when he tore his MCL, PCL, and LCL with cartilage damage back in 2015 against Tennessee. This one, he injured the same knee when Minkah Fitzpatrick hit him in the second quarter of the game, and his left knee bent inward. They refused to show the replay. during the game. I have the replay.
I have it too.
I don't know if you want to watch it. We'll put it up.
I mean, look, I'll put it to you this way.
Yeah.
When I saw it, as somebody who has recently dealt with a leg breaking injury,
here we go.
I'm serious. When I tell you, I didn't just go, I just felt my whole leg just shoot in pain. Like just full phantom, like sympathy pangs, bro. It was bad. It's because here's the thing.
Yeah.
We can. Are you able to put a poll on the stream?
Oh yeah. No, I don't. Ooh, I don't think I've ever tried to put a poll.
I can try and do it. Let me. If any of your, I know for a fact, if any of your admins are here, they could probably do it. The reason why I say this, bro, is that to warn y'all.
Yeah.
When I tell you his leg goes full 90 degrees from the angle it's supposed to be at. Yeah. And it's only temporarily. It lasts for a second, but that second is all it needs to just go clack, clack, like, and
right.
So it's up to y'all. If y'all feel like you can muster it, we'll show it. It's just
yeah.
Lord Jesus.
It was rough. But yeah, we'll hear from you all about it. So until then, though, I think we need to bring up this situation with Deshaun Watson, man. I need to understand what your feelings are about all this, Winston, because I mean, he basically shoved a referee and got away with it. Wasn't called for any penalty or anything. And do you think this is an issue for the NFL that they have to take a look at this and figure out what they can do in this kind of a situation if they're going to get respect from the refs? Let me bring it up here for everybody to take a look at the same time here. And this is it right here. You see it. See him, he shoves the ref right there, and is pointing at another ref, apparently, getting all threatening. Now, this is a guy who is already having issues with the NFL, with what coming back and the fans. Maybe he's pointing at a Steelers player or whatever, but he shoves the ref to the side. Do you think this is much to do about nothing, or do you think this is a legitimate thing that people should be kind of calling him out about?
I mean, look, man, the whole reason we're here in the first place is him, unconsentingly putting his hands on people.
Yes.
So like he clearly doesn't give a shit about boundaries. He's made that very, very clear.
Right.
So like it's funny. The minute Nick Chubb went down, I officially was like, I don't even like the Steelers, but I officially was like, I hope the Steelers destroy them. Because like that Nick Chubb was the only one that I was like, okay, like I like Amari Cooper, like I liked having him in Dallas and all that stuff, but I just genuinely was just like, having Deshaun on the team makes me not want to root for the Browns. And then seeing the dirty play of using that face mask when he was trying to stiff arm somebody, shoving a ref, like it just doesn't stop with this guy.
Yeah, let me bring that up as well, so people can take a look at that as well. Yeah, this is Deshaun Watson here with the face mask right there. He's grabbing, and he does it twice. He does it here, and then later on in the game, he does the same thing to get himself away from another a couple of Steelers here. He grabs one of the face masks, shoves him behind him, and keeps running down the field. So yeah, this is a guy who clearly has issues with boundaries. I think this is an extension of a little bit of childish behavior, because it's like, no, I'm going to do whatever I can to get what I want and whatever. And I think this is a bad look for Deshaun, considering this is how can he call this? This is a reparations tour. No, what am I saying? A redemption tour this season. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something right now.
Mm-hmm.
If Deshaun Watson is not good,
yes,
bro, the speed at which that motherfucker will just get fully dropped. Like it's the only reason, truthfully, that the whole Big Ben thing just kind of disappeared.
Oh, right.
People stopped talking about it.
Yeah.
Is because he was playing at an supremely high level. And it's funny how when you're out here in these streets winning, essentially, that people will just forget things. Yep. Because there are plenty of people that we've seen in professional sports that as long as you're winning, people will let a lot of stuff slide.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Deshaun's bad. That's that's a rat. I'm sure there is some way that the Browns have written in something of being able to get rid of him if he ends up being a bust. Obviously there is a number of they guaranteed, in my opinion, far too much money.
$240 million
was guaranteed, or that's just the size of the contract?
No, that's guaranteed. $240 million. That was the only reason they got him, is they guaranteed the contract. And so he was willing to jump from Houston to Cleveland for that, because of that situation. Yeah.
Bro.
I know.
230 of it. It's all guaranteed.
Yep.
It's all guaranteed.
All guaranteed.
Bro,
Yes.
I hope all the bad things happen to the Browns, not to the individual players.
Right.
I hope that nobody else gets injured. That was a gnarly injury to see on Nick Chubb. I don't wish that on my worst enemy.
Right.
But if this team just wants to lose the rest of the season, bro, like, I'd be fine with that. You guarantee $230 million to this asshole? All right, man.
That's why they only paid him $1 million last year, because they knew he was going to get suspended. So they backloaded the contract and guaranteed it for him for the majority of the years that are left on the contract. So it's crazy. Here's the stats from this guy at Troy I. Embiid. Baker Mayfield, 2023 stats, who, of course, led the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to a 2-0 start. 490 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 69% completion percentage, 66.4 QBR, worth $8.5 million. Deshaun Watson, 154 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 55% completion percentage, 56.4 QBR, $230 million. That's what they guaranteed. Not 340. Sorry, $230 million is what they guaranteed him. So those are tough statistics to read if you're a Browns fan.
I mean, but that's the thing. Show me where the Browns stop doing dumb shit. Then because like what have you seen them do in the course of the last few years, as far as not the last few years, probably the last decade and a half, 2 decades with quarterbacks that has made logical sense.
Right.
They like even to the point of looking at, I just watched the Johnny football documentary.
Oh, that's such a great Untold.
Really, really good. It's really good.
Yeah.
But like, your whole job is to do your due diligence.
Yes.
And a lot of stuff was up in the air about Johnny football, and they still went for it because of the spectacle. And like, the kid was, ironically, if Johnny football, you're allowed to get away with that nonsense, or like with the way he played without really practicing that hard previously, because you're going to have varying levels of stuff going on with teams. You might have a couple of dudes per team that are going to go to the league. You know what I'm saying? But you're not dealing with an entire, like, when you get to the NFL, even the crappiest team in the NFL is a team full of the best in the world. It might be the lower half of 52. It might be the last 52 best people in the world, but they're still 52 of the best people in the world. You can't just be out here in these streets getting drunk and being hungover and doing whatever. You know what I'm saying? So the Browns keep making bad decisions at quarterback. I don't know, man. I don't know.
And signing away their future. You know what I'm saying? Like, they traded so many draft picks just to be in a position to the Texans to be able to pull this deal off, along with the guaranteed money that they put under on the contract for Deshaun Watson. So it wasn't just giving up $230 million of guaranteed money. It was also giving up all these draft picks to make the deal possible with the Texans. So they mortgaged their future for a guy who, I mean, there were a number of accusations, and this is the result so far. And last year, his stats on those 6 starts aren't that great either. So you could say, well, the Browns aren't that good of a team. Maybe that's the situation. That's fair. I guess you can factor that in. But Deshaun, if he's supposed to be a quarterback that's worth all of this, should be able to overcome all that nonsense and somehow lead that team to victory and inspire the fans. And he's done none of that since he's been there. And I think that's eventually going to catch up to him. And without the blanket of Nick Chubb, that is going to be a real tough.
I mean, Ford looked good. Let's call it like I see it.
Okay.
Ford actually looked pretty good. If you look at the back half of the game, I think he ended with like 130 some yards and a touchdown. Let's see. 100 yards and 1 touchdown through the air. So he had 131 yards from scrimmage, because he had 3 receptions for 25 and a touchdown. So like, he actually did really well, and I think will be a great replacement for Chubb now that Chubb is going to be gone.
Yeah.
I still think Chubb has probably got that edge on him a little bit, but I just that as good as that defense is, you can't have this subpar play. Because, like, I'll put it to you this way, man.
Yeah.
Dak is out here at the very least. His biggest complaint that people have had out of him is that he was turn into a turnover machine.
Mm-hmm.
Now at least he seems like, because they've slowed down a little bit what he's doing through the air, he does take a few deep shots here and there, but it's not the Kellen Moore, we got to bomb it. It's like these little dink and dunk, whatever, and then bomb it when you need to, but you're letting your defense do the work. I think that can work for the Browns, but Deshaun actually has to do something.
Yeah, I mean, but also you got to look at the Steelers. They didn't plan on Ford being the main running backs. They didn't game plan for him. It's going to be interesting to see how these other teams adjust their game planning for Ford, because you look at the stats last night, like you said, 16 carries, 106 yards, 3 receptions for 25 yards and a touchdown. But last week, he had 15 carries. So almost the equal amount of carries, just one less carry, only 36 yards and no catches. So, and no targets, to be fair. So, but like, what? That's not consistent. So to me, I'm going to be curious to see what the next few weeks are going to be with this Jerome Ford kid, and see if he's, see if he's going to be able to, I want to, sometimes I forget, but I want to be able to see what's going to happen with him. But I mean, Nick Chubb is a huge blanket to lose. Maybe there's a little bit of a quilt here in Jerome Ford, but I don't know if it's as thick as a blanket that you would need, but like you have with Nick Chubb. So it's interesting to see. So we'll see. All right, let's move on to the 49ers game here. Winston, 49ers forced 2 late turnovers and held on for a 30-23 rivalry victory over the LA Rams. This was a damn good game. Brock Purdy passed for 206 yards, ran for an early touchdown. Deebo Samuel was a man, rushed for an 11-yard touchdown with 11:28, and San Francisco hung on. Christian McCaffrey rushed for 116 yards and a score, but the Rams gave them all they could handle the entire game. They racked up 386 total yards. Stafford threw for 317 yards. And Kyron Williams was fantastic. He rushed for a touchdown, had 100 combined offensive yards. And this kid, this Tutu Atwell, did a great job as a receiver for them as well. And I guess I must have deleted. Oh, no. Puka Nacua had 15 catches for 147 yards, breaking a rookie record.
I'm going to tell you something right now. Megatron done broke Matthew Stafford because that's a throwback for y'all that you need to pay attention to when he was with Detroit.
Calvin Johnson.
Man, all he did was bomb that to Calvin in triple coverage and be like, go get the ball. And Calvin would be like,
you're 6'7",
you son of a bitch. And he would just go up and just manhandle these balls because he's the man, right?
Yes.
And then you take Matthew Stafford over to Los Angeles, and what's this asshole going to do? He's going to do the same shit with Cooper Kupp till he broke him. You forced Megatron to retire because he was like, I'm not going to sit here in these streets and be on these crappy teams and put this kind of stuff. I broke records. We ain't never getting a chip. I'm out of here. So he bounced, right? Then you threw it to Cooper Kupp until he died, and now you're just gonna force it to Nuke. How do you pronounce his name?
Puka Nacua. Yeah,
Nacua. You're just gonna break Nacua because bro, 15 receptions. That's on 20 targets. He threw to him 20 times. Out of the 55 passes he threw.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Oh, also, I see people already quoting me. He would just go up and manhandle these balls.
I said no pornography today. Damn it.
It was visual. It was for the mind.
True. It's all
for the mind. Yeah. It's just one of those things, man. I mean, look, I know they were out here getting it done and holding on for dear life is what it really felt like, trying to deal with the 49ers. But I just think if Stafford doesn't start like spreading the love, and mind you, again, I do see here that like Kyron Williams had 10 targets.
Yeah.
Atwell had 9, but I'm literally just thinking to the standpoint of the next person after Nacua had half as many targets.
Yeah.
Like it's just, ooh, God, man.
I mean,
oh man,
it's like Thibodeau. It's like Tom Thibodeau running Derrick Rose's knees into the ground, then Jimmy Butler's knees into the ground. This is what he does, and you might find the same thing going on with Matt Stafford. I mean, look, they played a great game last week, took care of business Seattle Seahawks, then played a second rivalry game that week after here against these 49ers, and almost got the job done. They were ahead for certain stretches of the game, and it was that dink interception that kind of seemed to turn the game around a little bit and put the Rams back on the back foot, and they couldn't quite get over the hump. They had a number of opportunities to try to tie this game, just couldn't get it done in the end. And I think that's the difference. It's just that the Rams, I think, what do they say? Their death has been premature. People are prematurely calling them dead at the beginning of the season. They kicked ass against the Seahawks, and they came real close to beating these Rams these 49ers there in what felt like a 49ers home game, for God's sakes. It was insane how many 49ers fans were in SoFi. But
SoFi, SoFi is essentially what Jerry World used to be, right? Because when Jerry World opened, because everybody wanted to see what the spectacle was, because that was the start of this domino effect of ridiculous stadiums.
Yeah.
We didn't have home games. We would be watching it on TV, and it'd be against the Eagles, and that place would be like 50 to 75% green. I'm like, what is happening right now? So it's the same thing in SoFi. It's even worse for the Chargers.
Oh,
Bro,
I'm sure.
I don't know if you remember when I went to that Chargers game 2 years ago against the Cowboys, and it was 8, like for every 9 Cowboys fans, there was 1 Charger fan. Like we had a whole section where every time the Chargers would screw up, the whole place would erupt, and like that's got to be soul crushing. And I'm sure for the Rams, that probably effed with them too.
Oh, sure. Right.
You know, it's going to happen if you're in a city that did not have a football team for decades.
Yeah.
And didn't really make it a priority. People started becoming fans of other teams.
Yep.
So the Niners, the Cowboys, the Raiders, they're always going to travel well to the stadium, but a lot of teams travel well to the stadium, bro.
I know it was, I had a friend who was there. Chris, he was there from the wrestling show that I used to do. And he was sending us pictures, and I was just blown away at how many 49ers fans were in that stadium. It was mind-blowing to see how many were in there. I'm like, Jesus, this is insane, for God's sake. So,
I literally just can't understand how the Crips just going to let the Bloods just take over their territory like that. Like, just straight up be like, this all our block now, son. Like, what?
That's all you. You said that. I didn't say that. Don't get me. I've no affiliation. I'm wearing all black.
I don't have affiliation with either one. I'm just like, it was very weird to see what is supposed to be a sea of blue be a sea of red. That's all I'm saying.
Iced tea, you're needed at the station. Anyway, all right, let's move on to the Chiefs. The Chiefs here. Kansas City Chiefs bounced back from their surprising loss to the Lions here and took care of the Jaguars in Jacksonville 17-9. A pretty pedestrian score between two teams have some prolific offenses here. I was really surprised by what the final score of this game was here, Winston. Mahomes threw for 305 yards and 2 touchdown passes, including one to Travis Kelce, who kicked that ball out of the stadium. And the Chiefs overcame 3 early turnovers to beat Jacksonville. Jacksonville should have crushed these Chiefs, but they couldn't get their offense going at all. This felt like Urban Meyer Jacksonville Jaguars offensive football, not Doug Peterson offensive football here overall. The Chiefs, I don't think, did anything to really quell the concerns that people have about Kansas City, but maybe they're just this slow train rolling and are going to eventually get stronger and stronger as the weeks go on. But this totally exposed the Jaguars as pretenders instead of contenders at this stage in the season, and they're 0-2. So that's not a good start for a team that
1-1.
Well, sorry, they're 1-1. Sorry, that's not a good start for a team, in my opinion, who wants to go and get to the Super Bowl and what have you. So, what do you think of this game?
If that's the case, are you telling me then that the Kansas City Chiefs are not a good team to be trying to go for this because they're also 1-1 and had a very similar game last week?
But that's a track record. The Chiefs have a track record.
I understand that. And the Jags, at least, they don't have a track record of winning titles, but they have a track record of making it to the playoffs for the last 4 to 5 years.
What?
Okay. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Not under Urban Meyer, they didn't. They didn't make the playoffs under Urban Meyer.
When was that? 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. And then before that, do you not remember them in the AFC Championship game against the Patriots? Like,
with
I'm
Blaine
saying,
Gabbert?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so the Jaguars, look, it's hard to take them seriously until they actually do something. But I gotta give them credit from the standpoint of they have been someone that you need to pay attention to. I think we just have a synonymous mentality of hearing, in the same way with the Detroit Lions, not to be a dick, but you hear the Detroit Lions and you instantly go trash. But that's not, you know what I'm saying? They have changed the narrative. And I think the Jaguars have too. I just think this was a bad game. I don't you got to be more accurate than that. But at least like Trevor Lawrence, it looks like, yeah, okay, I forgot that he fumbled twice.
Yes.
And he lost one of them. So
Yes.
that's not good. But again, Patrick Mahomes threw an interception and they fumbled the ball 4 times. Yeah. They happened to lose it twice on the Chiefs side of the ball. So this whole game was just sloppy. It was a sloppy game that nobody really played well, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Okay, you had 300 yards and 2 touchdowns and an interception from Patrick Mahomes, but we're used to Patrick Mahomes putting up 350 and 3 to 4 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that. And so like for him to still be throwing, because it was an ugly pick. It wasn't like that was a mistake. It was like, what the fuck was Patrick Mahomes thinking on that interception? So like I think this is more of a situation where more than anything, we got to see how valuable Chris Jones is.
For sure.
Yeah. Because that changed a lot. Yeah. As far as game 1 to game 2 for the Chiefs. That's all I will say. Now it's funny, Sean is saying a win is a win. I'd be saying that shit with the Cowboys of yesteryear, and I get slammed for that. So you don't get to just say a win is a win, bro. And that's not how this works. Yeah. I'm just being real with you. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs, and you've earned the legacy clout.
Yeah.
However, if I were a fan, I would want them to look at that tape and see where we can get back to form. Yeah. And if it's just, again, Super Bowl hangover that I'm giving to the Eagles right now, cool. And if it's not, do you want to go back to the AFC Championship? Do you want to go back to the Super Bowl? If so, you should just at least be aware of and concerned of what's going on.
Right. Well, someone hipping us. Yeah, in 2021, the Jaguars only won 3 games, and in 2020 they won 1 game, and in 2019 they won 6 games. So they have not been good over the last few years, man. It's just Patterson last year finally turned the corner with them. Yeah, 5 wins in 2018 as well. So they have not been a good team for a long time. I hate to break it. I know, Winston, you're getting older now. Years into themselves.
Look, hold on. What? Hold on.
Yes, take a look. Gabbert played in the 2013 AFC Championship.
Last year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, last year they won because they got in the playoffs last year. But they have been in the playoffs in years before last year. I hate to break it to you, my man.
It's time just see the pandemic. The pandemic took a lot away. Memory, time in general. Wow. All right. Well, I gotta eat a lot of crow here. This is not. Bro, I feel like they were in that AFC Championship game 2 days ago.
No, I hate to break it.
Bro, that was 2017, bitch. Holy shit. That was 2017.
Yeah, bruh. Yeah,
I might have to quit the show. Holy God. That was Blake Bortles, bro. I swear to God that was yesterday.
Blake Bortles. Oh, yeah, Blake Bortles. Sorry, not Blaine Gabbert. Blake Bortles. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got it confused. Gabbert was at
2017.
Yeah, bro. It was a while ago. So I was still living in LA. That's why I know it was a while ago.
Oh my God.
Anyway, we'll see what happens with the Chiefs. Yes, everyone is doubting the Chiefs, and I'm doubting the Chiefs now. Not like last year. They don't look like last year where they're kind of overcoming things. There's some real issues, especially when you got Jawan Taylor there, Mr. False Start 5 times last week, not getting called on it. Then he was penalized 5 times during the game and then benched eventually because they didn't want him out on the field. Because he was flagged twice for false starts, once for an illegal formation, and twice for holding. So this guy is having a tough transition from Jacksonville to Kansas City. So we'll see what happens with Kansas City coming up in the next few weeks with their schedule. I want to take a look at this situation.
Also, follow-up question, since you just want to when did I become a fucking Jaguars defender?
There you go.
Since you just want to shit on the Jaguars.
I'm not shitting on them. I'm just saying the truth. I'm not shitting on them.
I just gotta ask the question. I just gotta ask the question. Who's the better? Because you called them fraudulent. That's why I'm asking you.
I feel like they're fraudulent.
Name a better team in the AFC South. Don't worry, I'll wait. Don't worry, I'll wait.
Hold on. Let me look at the schedule here. They've got Chicago, New York, Jets.
I'm not even asking you about the schedule. I'm asking you of the 4 teams in the AFC South, the Jaguars, the Colts, the Titans, and the Texans.
Here we go.
Name a better team in the AFC South.
I'll tell you right now, you're not going to like what I'm going to say.
Go for it.
I got a feeling because the Titans upset the Chargers.
Be a good.
The Titans beat the Chargers. Pretty surprising there. And the Colts looked good. Anthony Richardson, by the way, the Colts were winning that game or were tied with the Jaguars when he went out hurt last week, or were close to tying the game when he went out hurt last week. So to me, I like this Richardson kid. He's not coming along as much as just 2 games, but I have a feeling the Colts have the potential to turn a corner in the season here and might end up above the Jags, or the Titans might end up above the Jags. Don't rule out Ryan Tannehill finding that fountain of youth for one more season. So I'm just throwing it out there. But the Jaguars have to put some things together here and start winning some games because it's not going to look good.
Yeah. I mean, like you kind of said, though, with the Colts, is that, yes, Richardson looked great prior to it, but most of that was him kind of using his legs because both of those touchdowns were on the ground. He had 35 yards on those 3 carries. Right. I mean, what, 6 out of 10, 56 yards through the air and whatnot. I don't trust Minshew to do nothing. There's a reason why the Jaguars decided to put him out. And honestly, the way Anthony Richardson is playing right now, and this is a problem.
Yeah.
He's playing like he thinks he's Cam Newton. He's playing like he thinks he's Tua. Not to make IMAX feel bad about shit, bro. But like Anthony Richardson needs to go watch the Tua tapes of how not to fall, because that was the same slamming his head on the ground that Tua did.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
He needs to go learn how to fall, because we are going to be watching a full repeat of what we saw last year if this kid doesn't figure that out, man. So until I can trust Anthony Richardson to like figure that out, since he wants to be that guy that's like and then potentially pass on, because at least when like Patrick Mahomes does it, yes, he's playing kind of silly, like whatever, but then he'll hit you with some weird sidearm sort of situation and he'll get himself out of trouble, or he'll slide out of the way. He's not checking people. You know what I mean? Like, he's also not trying to pretend like he's Shady McCoy and like juke somebody out. Like Patrick Mahomes knows when to go for it and when to just sit down.
Yeah.
I don't believe that in Richardson yet.
No, nor should you. It's only been 2 games. I agree. It's a fair point. So we'll see what happens. But let's take a quick break. We're at 32 minutes. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and jump into the rest of the title games, or the big games here from the week 2 in the NFL. Right back right after this. All right, for those of you who don't know, I do that for the podcast. Game Time will be its own podcast feed here, so look out for that. I'll be announcing that soon. But let's move on to Lamar Jackson and the Ravens here. They held on to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, 27-24, leading to the Bengals starting for the second straight year, 0-2. Lamar Jackson threw for 237 yards, 2 touchdown passes, and then ran for 54 yards as well. Joe Burrow may have aggravated a calf injury towards the end of the game that sidelined him for all of his training camp. He finished 27 of 41 for 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a red zone interception, which was brutal and crucial for them in that situation here. But the Bengals didn't record a first down until more than 10 minutes into the second quarter, and that came on a defensive pass interference penalty, not them actually earning it through the air or through the ground. So your thoughts here, Winston, with this? Lamar Jackson getting these victories, they're standard stuff for him, but Joe Burrow now 0-2, just signed the biggest contract before Mahomes restructured his to become the highest paid NFL player. What are your thoughts on this coming out of this game on both of these?
I have a feeling this is a situation where he felt like he needed to, since they were finalizing that deal, he needed to get out there. He needs to go sit the fuck down. If I'm being honest, because
fair enough.
This is calf injuries lead to Achilles injuries.
Yeah,
it is almost synonymous. If you do not rest that, they turn into torn Achilles. Kobe, Kevin Durant,
yes.
Aaron Rodgers. That's literally he was dealing with that calf injury throughout the preseason, and here we are. The end of last year, I think he got it. Like this last year with the Packers, he was dealing with some calf issues. He was on and off. The last thing Joe Burrow needs is to fully lose a large part of a season like he did. I guess it was his rookie outing. So look, you got the money. The team understands. I understand it's a situation Yeah, KD was a calf that turned into an Achilles.
Yeah,
Go back and look. He tore his Achilles. That's why he was out for almost 2 years.
He tried to push it and then tore it. Yep.
So I'm just genuinely concerned that Joe Burrow just needs to rest. And Jamar Chase said it during the preseason. He was like, "Nah, my boy needs to rest. And he shouldn't come back unless he's 100%."
Yeah.
I think there was probably pressure in his mind since he just got paid that he needs to be out there.
Yeah. I'm going to give you the schedule for the Bengals over the next few weeks. The Rams at home, the Titans away, who just pulled off that upset on the Chargers, the Seahawks at home, and then they face the 49ers and the Buffalo Bills back to back.
You just going to skip over the Cardinals? You just going to skip over that free win?
Am I really? Do I need to mention
You're going to tell the schedule, like, look, that's a perfect week for Joe Burrow to rest, bro. That's a perfect week for my guy to rest. But
I don't know. The Cardinals can put up points. They might need Joe Burrow in that game.
Woohoo.
Come on. Joshua Dobbs, man.
I guess. I just look. I think the best thing that I heard about it, and this is actually what makes me nervous for the Bengals.
Yeah.
Is first of all, they lost 2 divisional games to start.
Yes.
It's one thing to lose 2 games, which is why when you said that the Saints Carolina didn't matter and the Browns Steelers didn't matter, that's not entirely true because both of those were divisional games as well. And Carolina now has also started 0-2 in their division.
Wow, fair point.
Sure, Bryce Young might get his chops to be the guy maybe down the line.
Yeah,
that's also not a very good start. That's probably, I hate to call it early, but I'm pretty sure Carolina's probably not gonna make it happen.
Well, I think that's why I said that those games weren't that big of a deal, because to me those teams are, in my opinion, not going to be vying for anything this season. All 4 of them.
It depends on if Derek Carr gets it together, but it's not even Derek Carr's fault in my opinion. I think the coaching for the Saints is just not good. But back to the Bengals here.
Yeah.
I was watching Speak for Yourself,
Fox?
and and Joy made a good point. She was saying that calf injuries in particular, because you need an extended period of rest for that, they are now chasing the injury, and so the issue is he needs weeks to just rest. He already got 45 days to rest, and that wasn't enough to solve the problem.
Right.
And so now it's either you kind of just put him on an IR and just sit him for a long period of time, or he's just kind of playing with it sort of aggravated, and there is so much fear that he genuinely do more damage to it. So it doesn't look good. And having an Aaron Donald and a Bosa coming to sit on your calf, bro. No,
that's true. It's true. Yeah. So you're paying attention to Joy. Okay. What she was saying. Yeah. I appreciate that about you.
Yeah.
I like that about you.
Hey, well, what? She has a lot of good stuff to say.
You're a good man. I appreciate that.
She has a lot of good stuff to say. What is wrong with you?
I'm just saying, I'm respecting the fact that you're respecting her as an analyst.
She is. I don't like the way she talks about the Cowboys, because sometimes I'm like, you just out of pocket. You got to watch it.
She does hate the Cowboys.
But otherwise, yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that, man. Yeah.
Trash.
All right, let's move on to let's move on to the Cowboys. Dak Prescott had 2 touchdowns here to match Zach Wilson's 3 interceptions in his first start after the Rodgers injury here. CeeDee Lamb was targeted 13 times. Those are Nakua numbers there by Dak Prescott that set up both of the touchdown passes on big plays. And Brandon Aubrey kicked 5 field goals in the 28-year-old rookie's home debut, and the Cowboys took care of business here 30-10 on Sunday. This is, first of all, the Cowboys, the defense was incredible. They were all over the place, just destroying Zach Wilson's mental state. And then the Jets, you got to feel bad for Robert Saleh, because I think that guy is a damn good coach. Watch those Hard Knocks episodes. He tried to make the most of this situation on the podium after the game, but it is clear, man. Zach Wilson, no matter how many touchy-feely moments you have in that fucking series where Aaron Rodgers teaches him how to throw an out pattern, it looks very clear that this kid does not have what it takes to make it in the NFL. And this is just a recipe for disaster after this game for the Jets. They may not win another game unless Rodgers comes back.
And the problem is they're saying that they're trying to rush him back for the playoffs.
Yeah, Jim Moore, playoffs. They're not making
they're 1-1, baby. You don't know. They're 1-1. Hold on.
I'll tell you right now. They're going to be 3-14 by the end of the year. I'm telling you right now.
Who they got next? They got the Patriots. You could beat the Patriots. The Patriots aren't good.
Mac Jones is a better quarterback than Zach Wilson.
Yeah, but the Patriots are not good. 0-2 ass Patriots. Come on now. The Chiefs, you're losing that game.
You are
Broncos,
losing.
Come on. Russell Wilson, his ass looked pedestrian as hell. He looked better than last year, but he don't look good. Like, come on. Yeah. Then you got the Eagles. You're going to lose that one. Then you got the Giants. In theory, you should win that game. I mean, in theory, you should lose that game, but the Giants apparently are kind of sus. So
yeah,
you got a good of enough defense that if you could make Daniel Jones feel, second guess himself.
Yeah.
Chargers, sus. They don't want the smoke. Raiders, sus. Jimmy Garoppolo ain't the one. Bills, little sus, bro. They got back to form this week. They got back to form this week, and I give them the edge over the Jets here for sure. But like Josh Allen is starting to look like Dak Prescott last year. Okay, like the way he be throwing these interceptions, bro.
This guy's 2-0. He's talking shit about other people's quarterbacks. It's amazing. Wow. All right.
Why can't I just speak truth? I'm speaking truth to power. I'm so sorry. Dolphins, you're losing that game. Yes. Falcons, who knows? Depends on how Riddle, Ritter. Just how he continues to develop. If he continues to develop well, then I think the Falcons probably have that.
Okay.
Texans, Jets could win that one. Dolphins, you're losing it. You're losing again. Commanders probably got that one. And then I gave you your props. Shut up.
You said probably. Probably.
And then the Browns and the Patriots. So, like, bro, they could end up with a winning season and make a low wild card seed into the playoffs. Honestly, this is a very winnable schedule. It's not going to be easy if Zach Wilson is there. You need to go find somebody. Bro, call us. You could have Cooper Rush. You could take him. That's fine. He's better than Zach. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Right now, if Zach remains your starting quarterback, you're losing to New England, Kansas City, Denver, Philadelphia, the Giants, the Chargers, the Raiders, Buffalo, Miami. You might beat Atlanta.
All of these games.
Houston. Yes. Yeah. But I'm lose to Miami, Washington, Cleveland, and then New England. Yeah.
I'm under the impression that they're going to go and get a quarterback, bro. I'm under the impression that they're going to figure this out and realize that Zach Wilson is not going to be the answer. There's no way they continue to move. I know everybody's saying meth is bad. I get it. Ha. Stop it. I get it. That defense is something real. It's just like
No, their defense is good. Yes, 100%. But you're not going to play hard for a quarterback that keeps turning the ball over to the other team.
No. I understand that. They need to go get another quarterback, but that defense is good enough that they can get a low wild card spot. They need to figure out how to make that offense work. It's just it's not my fault that look what Bryce Hall was doing. Look at that bomb to Garrett Wilson, one of their only touchdown of the game. That was a beautiful play. They have the weapons. You go get somebody that can hit. Bro, unretire Ryan Fitzpatrick. He could get you there. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, no. Look, that pass was a 15-yard pass that Wilson turned into a 70-yard run. Come on now, that wasn't
yeah.
But your Cowboys look good. CeeDee Lamb look good. Him and Dak seem to be figuring it out, which is nice to see. Micah Parsons looks like what do they say? He looks like a beast out there, man. Just untouchable, unbeatable.
He looks like insane, LT, bro. It's wild. Scared. I have only seen highlight clips of LT. So actually seeing what Micah Parsons is doing in real time, it literally makes me think to myself, I'm like, Bosa, who? Watt, who? Donald, who? Yeah. They're all incredibly good. Let's not blaspheme these defensive superstar pass rushers, but Micah's doing shit that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It's insane to watch him play. And you're right to compare to LT. I grew up watching LT, and that man was scary. Like, people drafted players and constructed schemes to be able to try to squeak out a win against the Giants because of Lawrence Taylor. The man was insane. He's like, the guy who really is really good, or a guy, girl, whatever, who's good at playing Madden, and you hate playing that person because they just know how to put that fucking defensive back there and just roam around the whole time.
Yeah,
That's what Micah feels like, and that's what Lawrence Taylor felt like. So yeah, it's a good comparison. Dude.
I agree with Jeremy Miller, man. If he's probably on pace already to win Defensive Player of the Year if he keeps this up.
Oh, sure.
But if he keeps this up the way he's moving, he may be an MVP consideration.
That's fair. That's
like,
fair.
And when was the last time a defensive player did that?
Yeah.
Was it LT?
One MVP? Oh,
yeah.
Good question.
Last defensive player to win MVP.
Yeah, we don't have
Lawrence Taylor in 86, and before that, Alan Page in 71.
Oh, the great Alan Page. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't remember Alan Page at all. Okay, yes. Oh, good. I'm not that old.
Bro. I can't believe you. That was hilarious. That was pretty good. I didn't know you were funny, Rocha. Shit.
Every once in a while.
The great Alan Page. I don't know who the fuck that is.
Hello, Alan Page here for the defense. Anyway,
that's crazy.
So anyway, wishing your Cowboys success until they play us, but they look good. They've got that glow about them, and you can't deny it when you see the glow.
That's a pregnancy glow, and you know what that baby is? A Super Bowl ring.
Oh, Jesus. We'll see. I don't know, man. Those 49ers. The more I watch the 49ers play, Winston, the more I agree with you that they would have demolished the Eagles last year in the NFC Championship game, and very well could have beaten the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Very well could have done it.
Wait. Would have demolished? They had the opportunity. Why didn't they do it?
Who?
You just said the Niners.
Yeah, if Brock Purdy hadn't gotten hurt.
Oh, you're saying they would have demolished the Chiefs in the Super Bowl?
Yes, I think they would have demolished the Eagles and then beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
You said that you think they would have demolished the Eagles. I was like, they had a shot. They were right there. I don't know what their problem was.
No. Those 49ers look damn good. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Geno Smith's second touchdown pass for the Seahawks to Tyler Lockett lifted the Seahawks to a 37-31 win over the Lions. This is quite a come down for the Lions. They were playing at home in Detroit here after that success against the Chiefs, and they didn't get the job done against the Seahawks team that had gotten their ass kicked the week before against the Rams. Pretty surprising stuff. Geno was 32 of 41 for 328 yards with 2 touchdowns here. Let's see, Detroit rallied after Smith threw a go-ahead 3-yard touchdown pass to Lockett. Then Jared Goff and Trey Brown then returned to Jared Goff interception 40 yards for a score in the ensuing drive. But Goff did well, 28 of 35 for 323 yards and 3 touchdowns, but one costly interception here. That was his first interception in 383 attempts, 30 attempts shy of Aaron Rodgers' NFL record. The Seahawks won the overtime toss and then marched 75 yards down the field to win the game. So what do you take away from this game about both of these teams here, Winston?
I mean, I was expecting the Seahawks to kind of right the ship a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Lions are they're still them. I think that they to me, I still think that they're the best looking team in the NFC North right now. I think that obviously as close as this was, and it was close, it had to go to OT and everything. I still think that they're better. Jordan Love is looking good, but I think the Packers need to kind of figure out their identity post Rodgers.
Yeah.
The Vikings just remain sus. Kirk Cousins one day can throw for 500 yards, but most of that is to Justin Jefferson. If you can isolate Justin Jefferson, they kind of shut down a little bit.
Yep.
So the Lions look like the most well-rounded team, which is wild to say in that division.
Yeah.
So it'll just be interesting to see where they go next, and how they bounce back from this loss, because these kind of losses can get in your head a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully they just watch it. But I guess I'm most impressed in the same way that I was so impressed with Geno Smith last year and how he made his declaration I'm a starter, bro. You're gonna put respect on my name. I gotta give Jared Goff some credit. This dude has been fully written off when he was in Los Angeles and just being like, you don't have the sauce and we're just going to ship you off to Detroit. Good luck. And he's actually playing pretty damn well.
Yeah. He's becoming a leader.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to watch. I mean, I watched a lot of this Lions game on Sunday, and I was like, because I wanted to see if the Seahawks could do it or if the Lions were for real. And man, watching Goff command his offense, I was really surprised because I watched those Hard Knocks episodes when they did the Rams with Goff, and he came off as this not that smart guy who had this beautiful wife and all this stuff. And
he was good on the Lions season last year.
Huh? And no, the Hard Knocks was a couple of 2 or 3 years ago. They profiled the Rams and the I can't
Chargers,
remember.
Rams and Chargers.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I know, but he was on it again last year with the Lions. Remember?
Oh, that's right. I did not watch that season last year, but I watched the one 2 or 3 years ago with him.
It was mid-pandemic. That's what you're thinking about. It was 2020 mid-pandemic. They did the Rams Chargers. You talk about Father Time getting away from you. So that was 3 years ago.
Right.
And then last year was the Lions.
And Blaine Gabbert was in the AFC Championship win again.
Shut your ass up. Okay. Shut your ass up. All I'm saying is just some quick stats on Goff this year.
Yeah, break it down.
50 out of 70. He's throwing 71.4%. He has 576 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception.
Yeah.
This is all over just 2 games.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn decent. I am very impressed by that.
Yeah. Yeah. I like him. And I like the vibe that I'm getting from him. But we do have to bring this up. Geno Smith is going viral for a clip from the game. I don't know if you saw this, but he was speaking for America here real quick. Let's take a listen here.
Offense number 7. It's a 10-yard penalty. I'm talking to America here. Excuse me. A 10-yard penalty and a loss of down. Second down.
A man said he's talking to America.
I'm talking to America here. What you mean? I'm talking to America here. Bro.
Only moved him out of the way.
The only thing that makes me laugh about that is like how many people you think were watching the Seahawks Lions game, my guy? That's like this isn't Sunday Night Football. This isn't Monday Night Football. Like what?
I'm talking to some of America.
What you mean? I'm talking to America here,
Gino, so great. I love it, man.
Wow, Gino. I hope Gino goes viral every week.
Yes, that's true. Last week, oh my god!
My god!
I think Gino low-key understands the influencer state we live in now. He's trying to get viral every week. All right. Yeah, I like the Lions. Sure. Sean asking me if I like the Lions out of the NFC. Out of that division, yes, I do like the Lions. I think they look good. I like Campbell as a coach. I like their defense. I like the running backs, and they've got it going on with Jared Goff. So to me, that's a team that will come into its own as it goes along. And I think they should have gotten in the playoffs last year. It was just an unfortunate string of events that didn't get them in the playoffs last year. So I think that team is for real for sure. So, and we'll see how far they go. But one last game here in the block, and this was a personal choice. I shoved it into the main block. I don't usually put my team in the main block.
I don't mind you putting it in, but I got some words for you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Here we go. Sam Howell, Washington Commanders quarterback, led a big rally for the Commanders, who held on to beat the Broncos here after Russell Wilson threw a Hail Mary right at the end. The Commanders had been down 21-3 and then took a 35-24 lead before there was a field goal and then a touchdown here, Hail Mary. But it was incredible to watch this game. This 18-point blown lead is the 4th largest at home in franchise history. It is the 2nd biggest lead the Commanders have overcome in their history to win the game. Howell threw for 299 yards and 2 touchdowns in his first road start. Brian Robinson Jr. added 2 touchdown runs himself. They went on a 32-3 run in the middle of the game to turn the game completely around. I was ready to turn on my PS5 in the second quarter and just switch off and watch and play video games. And damn, if the Commanders didn't put this thing together and come all the way back. That being said, when there's a Hail Mary, knock it down. Don't try to catch it and run around like an idiot. Knock it the F down. And then there was some dubious pass interference at the end there on the 2-point conversion from Benjamin St. Juste, but we got the job done. That's all that matters.
Bro, there was so much pass interference in that 2-point conversion. It wasn't just the kid that was going for the ball. If you look at it when they do the reverse angle behind the receivers, you had a linebacker pulling the other receiver, turning his shoulders around. Like, are you proud of yourself? Because, you want to go out like that? Like,
I'm just saying, listen, we did enough to win the game, and that's really what matters. As my friend Sean Brennan said, a W is a W. As my friend Sean Brennan said, a win is a win. A win is a win.
All
there.
right,
So
man, if that's how you want to be, if you want to fraudulently just tap dance your way into a playoff spot to get bounced the fuck out, you can do that. You can do that, baby.
Let's hear from Dean Blandito about this and take a look and see if Winston's out of his mind. But let's take a look at this, hear from him about this
What he had to say.
Russ Wilson incomplete to Portland.
Come on, he
Sutton
barely
in the
touched
end zone,
him.
broken
Come
up.
on.
Bro, he's got his whole left shoulder.
Lot of early contact. I thought there
Early
was too
contact?
much
Come on.
contact.
Look, what right there. He's turning that receiver, and then he's all on that
Grab
receiver.
with the left arm, get the shoulder.
Come
and
on,
pull
just let the
Sutton
guys
away from
play.
the ball. If I'm looking at that game and I'm talking to that crew, I want us to get that flag down because
I'm sure
that
you
would
do.
have given Denver an opportunity that they really
Can't
didn't
do
earn
that,
to
Rocha.
go
Still
for
had a
two
chance to
again
catch
and
it. Come
maybe
on.
tie it.
Don't be ridiculous.
What do you mean I have no chance to catch it? I'm not. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. So is that what the W in Commander stands for on your logo? Win at all costs? Is that what it is? Is that what that shit is? Okay. As long look, if you
By
feel good about
any
it-
means necessary. No,
if,
I mean,
if you feel good about it, that's all that matters. If you feel good about it.
no, look, if the shoe was on the other foot, I'd be losing my damn mind. Of course. So I totally understand the Broncos getting upset. But hey, the refs didn't call it. Maybe they just want to let him play on this final play. It didn't look like he, as you're watching the game in real speed, it didn't look like he impeded him. It just looked like he put his hand there. But you see it in slow motion, it looks like he's yanking his arm away from the ball. So may have possibly.
He was like this, bro. Like,
but just, that being said, we gave you a Hail Mary. You got the Hail Mary. You can't get both miracles.
But that's literally why that was complete and utter bullshit. It'd be one thing if like you. I'm being a little loud. I'm being a little loud. The door got closed.
Okay.
Which I should have closed it anyway when I started the show.
Oh, is that the lady's like, you're too fucking loud. Yeah.
But I say it from the standpoint of like, after a Hail Mary like that, how about just play good defense? Because you played bad defense, the bigger, easier play to stop.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. What did you think about the hit, man? We got to talk about the hit on Logan Thomas, right? I'm going to bring it up here for us to look at.
I don't know if I remember it.
Oh, yeah, that's why I want to play it, because I think you should take a look at this hit. And do they have it in? Yeah, here we go. I just wanted to see it in slow motion so that you and the rest of the people who are watching. I'm talking to America now as well. So let's take a look. Here is the slow motion of this. This is Kareem Jackson, who had last week got fined $15,000 for giving Hopkins, I think, a concussion last week in their game. Here is Kareem Jackson leaving his feet to hit Logan Thomas
on Jackson at the end of the game.
Right there. And
bro,
come on. He's in the end zone. He has the ball. Why are you leaving your feet to launch?
Because he's not on the ground yet. So I get he's trying to maybe stop him from catching it, but you don't lead with your helmet. That is what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
You need, if you're going to do that, you need to spear him in the body and hope you can knock the ball loose. That's
what you do.
That was bullshit.
Yeah. So, and Logan Thomas got a concussion off of this, and I don't know if he'll be back for next week, but it's such a shame because it's just another situation where this kind of stuff shouldn't be allowed in the NFL. In my personal opinion, if there's a track record, and there is a track record, and Kareem's been in the NFL for like 10 years, you got to kick him out of the league for a season. In my opinion, everyone's like, oh, fighting's not going to do anything. I agree with you. Kick them out of the league or suspend them for 6 to 8 games with the paychecks, because this is madness. And I tweeted it out and I said, I don't understand how players who all understand they're one play away from being crippled for the rest of their life would willingly do this kind of stuff and launch themselves at players in such dangerous things. It really is something I cannot understand.
Yeah, I am not here for the dirty hits. I don't know. Yeah. I didn't even check to see if you had put it on there. Yeah. So like, no. You did for the Dion win.
Oh yeah, the Colorado State one. Yeah, we'll get to that one for sure.
Yeah, so we'll get to it. But I'm not here for it. I need. Yeah. You're already playing a super violent game. Yeah. Let's respect the rules of certain hits that shouldn't happen because they are meant to protect people. Yeah.
It's just frustrating on so many levels to see the kind of thing. But the Commanders took care of business, man. We're 2-0.
Okay.
We're tied with the Cowboys, first place
in the
NFC East,
and the Eagles. It's a 3-way tie.
It's a 3-way tie.
I mean, let's be honest. I think the rankings go that you were you were 1C out of this, but
is that alphabetically, or do you mean
as in like 1A, 1B, 1C? If they're all tied for first, you were definitely 1C.
What do you mean definitely 1C?
Come on, bro. Come on, bro. The Eagles and the Cowboys are both better than the Commanders.
You beat two terrible teams in New York. We beat two damn good teams. I don't know what you're talking
about. You're calling the Broncos a damn good team. And who else did you play? Who else did you? Okay, and then the Cardinals. Those are your two great teams.
Joshua Dobbs, unrecognized gem. Let me tell you this right
now, bro. You allowed for Russell Wilson to throw a Hail Mary that had no business, and you also allowed you have allowed 49 points in 2 games. We've allowed 10.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah, it gets 2 shitty offenses too, man. I mean, yeah, it's rough. Right now we're at +6. The Eagles are +11. Cowboys +60. God damn. God damn. I mean, a 40-point spot helps, but still. But +60 is incredible. But yeah, 2-0,
baby.
We'll see what happens with the Commanders. I mean, we got an interesting schedule coming up, but I like the Sam Howell kid. He's picked himself up off the mat twice now in both games and led the team to victory. And I think that's a good thing. I mean, 2 interceptions in the first half against those Cardinals, coming back in the second half and leading them to victory against the Cardinals, and then going down 21-3 in Denver on your first road start as essentially a rookie quarterback. And he leads them back in a 32-3 run. It's pretty fantastic stuff here. And those 2 touchdowns he threw were dimes, man. They were beautiful touchdowns. So just throwing it out there. Keep your eyes on Sam Howell. All right, let's take a quick break, man. Then we'll jump into the rest of the NFL and get into some other sports news here as we wrap up the show. If you want to send in your Streamlabs and Super Chats, do it now. We'll answer them on the other side of this break. Go ahead, yes?
Yeah, quick thing before we get there. I see Sean Brenner be like, you had Zach Wilson and Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones got paid. Okay, if they saw him well enough to pay him like that, you better earn your money. That's all I'm saying. Let's go to commercial.
Yeah, let's go to commercial. We'll be right back. Winston trying to tell me he listens to Joy Taylor. All right, let's go.
I do. She's so good. She's so good. I didn't even know she was on social media until the other week, and then I was like, oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, terrible. No wonder she closed the door on you. All right, let's best to the rest of the NFL. Josh Allen and the Bills bounced back to defeat the Raiders here 38-10. Good victory for them there in Buffalo. Tua and the Dolphins outlasted the Patriots here 24-17. Tough interdivisional game between the two. Giants stormed back from a 21-point deficit to beat the Cards. I mean, so many of my friends were texting me at halftime of that game saying that it was over and the Giants were trash. But Daniel Jones and Saquon led them all the way back here, and they won the game 31-28. But Saquon Barkley is out now for 3 weeks. Eagles sent the Vikings to 0-2 with a 34-28 win over them on Thursday night. The Falcons came back. Desmond Ridder led the Falcons to come back against the Packers in a 25-24 victory. Titans upset the Chargers. That was really surprising. Baker Mayfield and the Bucs are now 2-0 after they defeated the Bears 27-17. Anthony Richardson, that rookie, led the Colts over the Texans 31-20, the hapless Texans. And then the Saints last night, as we mentioned already, beat the Panthers 20-17. So, Winston, which one of these games you want to talk about or sticks out, or what do you want to talk about from these games?
They're all pretty bad. Because like even the Dolphins, I'm not going to lie, I expected a little bit more out of them against the Patriots because the Patriots are kind of vulnerable right now. It shouldn't have, in my opinion, I don't feel like it should have come down to the final drive where Mac Jones had a chance to once again try and bring him back. I expected the Dolphins, even as a divisional game, even with Belichick being all over it, I really thought the Dolphins would handle that. So I was kind of shocked by that. I guess I want to talk about the Eagles-Vikings. This was Thursday Night Football.
Go ahead.
I think why this was interesting to me the most has to be with the standpoint of Kirk Cousins actually played a good game.
Yes, he did.
That's the weird part about this is that Kirk Cousins actually played a good game.
Yeah.
Because let me pull up his stats. 364 for 4 touchdowns.
4 touchdowns, man.
QBR of 83, bro. You can't ask him to do more than that. And I think the reason why I wanted to talk about this as well is because there's another element of this that pissed me off to no end, and we were passing some stuff back and forth, is that Alexander Mattinson, the running back for the Minnesota Vikings, received over 60 different DMs of people straight up talking out of pocket, two of which he shared on social media, saying that he feels that not only should social media have a situation where you can't just hide behind that anonymity, but if there's any, like, once you're identified, that the NFL goes, you're officially a threat to the safety of NFL employees. You're no longer allowed at games, events, whatever. And I sort of agree with that, bro. Like, in the sense that, like, the two he showed were awful, calling him the N-word and all sorts of coons and telling him to kill himself. Like, if we're being honest, you shouldn't maybe joke about, like, hey, kill yourself. Between my friends, we say that as like a joke because we know each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might talk out of pocket to somebody because you know each other. But to say to a stranger because you lost at fantasy football that they should go kill them, like, fuck you. Like, real talk. And so it was a good game. Seeing Swift do all that work was terrifying. 175 yards and a touchdown. But, like, that was the part that stuck out to me the most, is to see that Kirk Cousins played that well and it didn't turn into anything. And then Mattinson was dealing with that bullshit. Like, all the people that try to come at him can literally go fuck themselves.
Yeah, Madison is really heartbreaking to read. I sent it to Winston, something we could talk about on the show if there's time, and I'm glad he brought it up here because it is the right place to bring it up in the conversation about the game as well. Madison shared 2 screenshots on Instagram on Friday, so you can see them if you want to go to his Instagram and take a look. But that was 2 out of 60. He got 60. He called them disgustingly disrespectful messages, as Winston already pointed out, with racial slurs, and then asking him to take his own life. And he said on Instagram, y'all can come at me all you want about fantasy and you suck, blah, blah, blah. I really could care less. But this shit is unacceptable. Really reflect on what the fuck you say and how it could affect someone. Under the helmet, I am human. I am a human, a father, a son, and this is sick. And the Vikings came out with a statement, said they are sickened by the hatred and racial slurs directed toward Alexander Mattison following tonight's game. There's simply no room for racist words or actions in sports or society. And the NFL came out and said that it, quote, strongly condemns the racist comments, calling the behavior, quote, completely unacceptable in the NFL or anywhere else. They stand firmly with Alexander and remind fans to remember the humanity of all players and celebrate their contributions. So this is the thing that I wanted to bring up, because this is happening all over the sports landscape now. You know, both of us watch Premier League. The no room for racism, they still kneel before every Premier League game all these years later to still highlight the fact that there's racism in the game. We just had a player, Vinicius, over at Real Madrid, call out their fans of one of the most legendary football clubs in the world for the racism he receives. I remember when an Arsenal player got a banana peel thrown at him in the middle of a game after he celebrated a goal. So these are these things that are happening, but also it goes farther than the racism thing. There's a breakdown happening between fans and players now in ways that are scary. We've seen this, Winston, last few years, fans running onto pitches, running onto basketball courts, confronting players. Messi the other day, who is, of course, this incredible thing that's happening in the MLS, a fucking fan ran all the way onto the field to try to touch him. The bodyguard coming off the pitch hits this dude and stops him from getting close to him. So we're seeing this entitlement of fans and dialing into the worst elements of themselves as human beings. And I agree with Madison. I think it's high time that these accounts are named. These people are put out onto social media, and they should be shamed and embarrassed to the point where they lose their jobs, lose their shit. Like, this has to happen, because there's no other end to this. Because these players, as you said, are human beings. So we can't, with one side of our mouth, talk about how we support mental health, and another side of our mouth say it's okay to let these people say the worst things without consequence. Yes, and another thing. No.
That's all good. I'm with you 100%, man. I think what's getting to the core of it, you've got two things happening at the same time. I think we've talked about multiple times what the Trump era has done, and originally we kept saying specifically about America, but it's really seemed to, for as much as we wish that we were truly the full-on leaders of the free world, man, we still are as far as culture goes. If we're being honest, if we're being honest, like American culture still dominates so much of the general global pop culture scene. From Hollywood to sports and whatnot.
Music.
You can see that in music. We still have a pretty big foothold, and so that behavior translates over. But then beyond that, social media has done something, specifically the internet in general, but social media has done something where people fully disconnect from a situation, especially a situation with a celebrity. There's this weird thing. Like I think back to the Westbrook, people trying to give him crap when that one fan was talking shit. He's like, you want to do something? Like, you know what I mean? Like something disconnected in that man's head where he goes, that's the dude that plays the basketball. He's not real. So I'm just going to say whatever the fuck I want. Like it's in the same way, a DM's even easier. He'll probably not, like he might see it, he might not, but whatever, it doesn't matter. He's my fantasy football player and he was shitty. Right. So I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want to him. We are living in a time where people have literally lost their fucking minds. And everybody here needs a big mama or an abuela with a chancla to bust their head open, because you're going to find the wrong one. You're going to do that to the wrong one, and you're going to regret your mistakes. And I don't ever want to see another Malice in the Palace, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happens at some point, because people are getting too fucking entitled.
Right. It's going to be worse. The next Malice in the Palace is going to be much worse than what we saw in that situation, because players are tired of it. Players are sick of it, and fans are going way out of pocket, as you like to say, with some of the things that they say to these players, because they feel like it's all jealousy. Yes, it's racism 100%, because it's a majority of white people who are saying this thing. Of course it is. But it's also this sense of like, look at this person who did something with their lives. I didn't do anything with my life. They reflect my failure back at me. And so they need to be perfect, because if they're going to succeed and I'm not going to succeed, they better be fucking perfect. And if they're not, then I get to tear them down, because that's the way of making me feel good. And it's really a fucked up psychological approach to these things. Man.
It's certainly part of it. I'll give you that. Yeah. I think a large part of it, though, is just that. I think with so many people feeling like their lives are spiraling out. And it's been happening for a minute, but it really got bad during the pandemic.
Yes, 100%.
If this is the only thing that you have good going in your life, which is sad.
Yeah. True.
You're gonna this weird thing, especially when you're not perceiving the person as human. Right. You're gonna start getting real crotchety and real quick to be like, motherfucker. Like, but you gotta remember there are humans on the other end. So it's like, it's one thing if you want to be like, man, like that. I really didn't like The Last Jedi. I personally do, but I really don't like The Last Jedi. Whatever. To start making death threats to Kelly Marie Tran, like. For what? For what possible reason? Yeah. And that's the part that people need to grow the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, I get some unsettling DMs every once in a while on Instagram or Twitter or X, whatever it's called now. And sometimes people leave comments on my YouTube page that are pretty unsettling. That being said, any time these fuckers have the balls to come and say it to my face, I'm always ready. But like this kind of stuff, it does get a bit frustrating, because you're just like, I'm just trying to do what makes me happy. And you people are just have to bring the most ugly vitriol to the table. And I don't understand it. And at some point, excusing it for mental health reasons or, I'm mad at my life. At some point, you run out of the well of excuses. And it's just like, fuck this. Name them, out them, throw them in jail. That's what I think. I think you should throw these people in fucking jail. Yes, freedom of speech is not freedom of consequences. You have freedom of speech, but not freedom from consequences. And so I think there should be something put out, especially with people who are overtly racist. They need to be named out and put out on the social media. And these companies need to know these are the people you employ who are servicing diverse clientele or customers. And you can't have people like that working in your job, in your establishment.
Look, I'll put it to you this way. someone calling me then where that's not against the law. You have freedom of speech to say whatever you want. But I think, like, again, if this happens, there needs to be a way to identify who these accounts are. This idea of this full anonymity that can come out of social media and the internet is ridiculous.
Right.
So if you know who that person is, fine, you're banned from this platform. We don't tolerate this kind of hate speech.
Yeah.
The NFL finds out who you are. You're banned from coming to NFL games. If you're not going to respect the people that are offering this free entertainment for you, it's for, unless you really want to watch every single effing game, in which case then you got to go and get the direct Sunday ticket shit, which, by the way, I got Sunday ticket is amazing.
It is amazing. Yes.
It's my first time doing it. It's incredible. But but like, that being said, this is free entertainment.
Yeah.
And you have decided that you're going to try and come for somebody like that.
Yeah.
Miss me with that shit.
It doesn't make sense. And and that's the thing at the end of the day. There have to be, you can have free speech all you want, but there must be repercussions in my opinion. If you misuse that, like you misuse anything in life, there are repercussions. So just throwing it out there. All right. I think we talked about everything that I wanted to talk about from the game. So let's move on to the other. Well, actually, let's hit some Streamlabs here. Winston, Doug Developer says, as much as you guys and I would hate to see Giants fans see a Super Bowl win this year, we must root for them to win some games so they won't draft generational prospect in Caleb Williams. P.S. Zach Wilson still sucks ass. Why specifically the Giants? There are other teams that are going to be so much worse before the Giants will get to that situation, like the Jets or maybe even the Cardinals or the Texans. There's a lot of bad teams that'll get to the bottom before the Giants get there for sure. So just saying. Thomas Fong says, great to see you gents again. Don't know if Rocha can top last week's highlight with his link clicking. We shall see. I rewatched it because people were putting time codes in our comments, and I was like, fuck, man, I really walked into that one. Anyways, Winston, I can't wait for week 5. Go Niners. Yeah, are you all playing the Niners in week 5?
I mean, that, to be honest, I said it though. That's the only team. Like, let me look at the schedule. Cardinals, I don't care. Patriots, I don't care. Niners, that makes me a little nervous. Chargers, I care only because I will probably go to that game because it's a Monday Night Football game.
Wait. You're saying the 49ers only make you a little bit nervous?
No. I'm actually concerned. Sorry, excuse me. Okay. I'm actually concerned about the Niners. That's the only team in the first 5 weeks that I'm like, oh shit. The Jets would have been if Aaron Rodgers had been around. I would have been because who knows who he would have been.
Right.
But Chargers, sus. That's just gonna be fun to go see. Rams, we'll see. Eagles, that you gotta pay attention. You're talking about reigning NFC champion,
right?
And a divisional game. Giants, we've already proven that that's nothing to be worried about. The Panthers, I'm not worried about that. You guys, I'm not worried about you.
Oh my God.
Seahawks, I'm not worried about them. Eagles again. Bills, gotta pay attention. But like, if this is how Josh Allen wants to play, Micah Parsons will eat that ass up. Phrasing. Jesus Christ. Holy God. Whoa. I was moving too fast. I
did love doing the show.
The Dolphins. That's a high-powered offense.
Yeah.
The Lions, as good as they are now, not worried about that, and I'm still not worried about y'all at the end of the year either.
You're talking about going undefeated. That's what you're talking about.
Which would be awesome. But if I see any potential L's looming, I see 1, 2, 3, somewhere between 3 and 5. But I think we can go undefeated. It's going to take a lot of work. But I think we can do it.
All right.
But I see 3 to 5 potential L's. The rest I'm not really concerned about.
I see like 7 potential L's, but 2 of them are the Commanders. So
you have one thing working in your favor.
Yeah,
it's a divisional game.
The refs.
You know the team.
Oh, okay.
You know the refs. Yeah, no, the refs not calling plays where you clearly should have been called. Yeah, that'll do it. Bro, that's the other thing that's wild. The Cowboys, I believe, have 1 penalty in 2 games. That has been a massive problem for us. We have gotten it to 1 penalty in 2 games. That's crazy.
How the hell is that? Mike Joyce says, who would you say is the worst team in the NFL? It's got to be the Bears, right?
Yeah,
maybe.
They don't look good. They don't look good. It's moments like this that there's a certain person that I wish was around because, oh man, I've been giving them the business right now about the Bears. Oh Lord.
Yeah, the Bears look terrible. Justin Fields, I feel bad for him, but then I also feel like he's still not learning the game. But then again, who's the coach that's coaching him to figure out how to be better? Like, that's the thing I give credit to Dan Campbell. Jared Goff's change under Dan Campbell has been incredible. And so to me, that shows me a quarterback who's willing to learn and who's willing to listen. And you've got a good coach who's telling him the right things. I don't see that in Chicago. So, yeah, I think of the 0-2 teams, I think the Bears in the NFC, the Bears are the worst because the Cardinals I can put up points with Dobbs. The Panthers, I think they're figuring it out with a young quarterback, a new quarterback, and the Vikings have Cousins for God's sake. So I can't say they're worse. The Bengals are 0-2. That's a fallacy. The Denver Broncos have Russell Wilson, and the Texans, I think, yeah, they're bad, but the Bears seem to be worse because they seem to have more talent. So to me, that
worst 0-2 team.
I think it's the Bears. I'd have to say.
I might give you the Bears. I would say the Texans.
You would?
But I think at the same time, it's a rookie quarterback. He's getting his legs.
Yeah.
I think Fields has had time to bad coaching. I think that they've ruined that young man, which I hate.
Yeah.
And I think that if you go and get him to the right person, the right coach, I think honestly, they're not gonna move anything on Purdy. I think Purdy is doing just fine. I think if you turned over Justin Fields to Kyle Shanahan, he might turn him into a fucking weapon.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah. If he would know how to use him completely.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
But the Bears don't look good though.
Yeah, they don't, unfortunately. All right, let's move on to some other sports news here. And please, we've got about 10, 15 minutes left in the show. Send in your Streamlabs and Super Chats as we wrap up here. You mentioned this earlier already, Winston, but Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, took his Colorado Buffaloes here to 3-0 in a hard-fought rivalry game. By the way, really up the ante for this game because A, was a rivalry game. B, him and the coach, Jay Norville, from the other side of Colorado State, got into it in separate press conferences. And you had the Rock, Pat McAfee, high-level talent showing up. Lil Wayne was doing a concert before the game. Bro, the stakes could not have been higher to fall flat on your face. And Colorado took care of business in that second overtime. Incredible game. I thought they were done and buried more than 5 times throughout the game. But his son, man, Shedeur Sanders is the real deal as a quarterback here. And he was fantastic. Calm as hell. Led that team back, and his other son, Shiloh, got himself an 80-yard pick
80-yard interception, pick 6, and threw the glasses on, baby. Come on.
It was
the only thing that would have been funnier is like because you can't use props, you would have gotten in trouble. Is if one of the other players, if Shiloh had put on the glasses and a hat real quick, the other player came over with a microphone and pretended to start talking to him, bro. That to me, that is from now on. If I do anything like beer pong, if I go back and play a game of dodgeball and do something wild, I'm putting the sunglasses on, putting on the hat, and I'm just gonna have somebody come and give me an interview because that's the most fire celebration I could think of.
Yeah, I mean, but this was incredible. It was marred by Henry Blackburn's hit on Hunter there. That's gonna apparently take him out of the next few games, and the next few games are against Oregon and USC. Apparently the guy was getting death threats. Henry Blackburn here, the Colorado State defensive back, him and his family were getting death threats. And then Deion Sanders came out in a press conference earlier today and encouraged the fans to not send this guy death threats. It was a terrible hit. Don't get me wrong. I even tweeted that hit out, the hit on Travis Hunter. I thought it was dirty and terrible. And he was totally trying to hurt the guy. But in the end, I mean, it still doesn't mean you should be sending death threats to this guy. But that's the thing. Everything is great on one side of the fence that you're elevating Colorado and everyone's got all this attention. The other side is as you bring on these bandwagon fans, they're going to start to take it personal when shit like this happens from other players. And that can be dangerous because these are still college kids, for God's sakes. They're not adults. So I think it's dangerous.
I look, should we be having people give out death threats? No, I don't.
Right.
There's a little bit of this kid needed the fear of God put into him.
Okay.
Because
Fair.
that was a horrendous hit. You sent that kid to the hospital.
You did.
He's out for 3 weeks, if not longer.
Right. Let's take a look at it here.
That was a nasty, unnecessary hit, bro.
Yeah, it's Shador is throwing the ball here, and Travis is running down the sideline, and he is just level. And that is steps, man. Like, let's be clear here. The ball is over his head, and there is 3-4 yards between him and Blackburn still waits for him and unleashes on him. So
and it has enough wherewithal to duck under his own player.
Totally.
They're moving at full speed, and he has enough wherewithal to duck under his own player. And then the way he walks away, you could tell. Walk. Well, no, but you could tell the way he looked at him. He definitely called him some sort of bitch or something, because that's why. Yeah. And that's why you saw his other players run up in his face and all that stuff. That was he has a lacerated liver. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah. So no, you should not be issuing death threats, but I hope what does end up happening, again, I'm not wishing like injury on anybody. I hope some of the brothers that saw that from other teams and saw that dirty ass hit, and I'm not saying it's racially motivated at all, but I hope somebody saw that and goes, I'm gonna give you a taste of your own medicine real quick. You know what I'm saying? I hope some running back or like some receiver that's working on a block knocks the fucking teeth in. Like, it just knocks him on his ass. And he just learns. Like, that's not what I don't need, is that energy turning into a Kareem Jackson in the future, turning into what was it? Was it Perfett that did that? That used to play for the
Vontae Perfect. Yeah.
Who we all kind of universally agree broke AB.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. AB apparently was always an asshole, but after that hit, he was different.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yep. I agree. Look, it was an incredible victory. And as I said, the stakes were higher. It couldn't have been higher, especially because Colorado State was a 23.5 point underdog. So they were playing with that chip on their shoulder. Like, no one believes in us. You thought no one believed in you. No one really doesn't believe in us. And they were giving Colorado all they could handle. And Shador Sanders did a great job in that second overtime, leading the victory, and the defense as well. But yes, this is the other side of it, is like, there's going to be more attention. So all players from these colleges and these coaches need to be aware that the spotlight is going to be super bright on everything that they're doing. So, keep it above board, play hard, play tough, which Deion said in that press conference, that this kid is a good player, a damn good player, and certainly a history of playing really well. And this is a moment that happened, and it shouldn't be kind of vilified for it. But Winston might be right on this. This is also maybe a message to all these other defensive players. Don't try anything dirty, because this is what could happen to you. These death threats, these situations, even though we don't like it, that's a real possibility that could be the end result if you kind of go into business for yourself in those kinds of situations. So we'll see. We'll see for sure. All right. So one last thing here, Winston, I do want to ask you about this. We had a comment from the owner of your team here, Jerry Jones, who said that he wants to help minority ownership happen in the NFL. And Jamel Hill, who was suspended by ESPN years ago when he called out Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, chimed in on this because Jerry Jones said, quote, "Nobody got in on a wing and a prayer any more than I did, and I really couldn't afford it. But I got into it, and as we look and see, and we do see the qualified potential buyers out here that can get involved, and that's one way. The financial hurdles for everything has gone up. But percentage-wise, there are qualified people out here." And Clarence Hill Jr. tweeted this out and said he'd, quote, "walk across Texas," is what Jones said, "to get minority ownership. It helps the NFL." But Jamel Hill called this out and said Jerry Jones really had the nerve to say this out loud. Jones's father was the president of a lucrative insurance company that was worth over $6 million when Jones graduated from Arkansas in the mid-1960s. His father immediately made Jones the executive VP as soon as he graduated. Jones was also able to borrow $1 million to open up a pizza chain. But sure, tell us how you pulled yourself up from the bootstraps and lucked into NFL ownership. So she got some heat back and forth, support and against what she was saying. What are your thoughts on Jerry Jones's comments about this? And what are your thoughts? And do you believe him? And what are your thoughts on Jamel Hill's response to this?
I would believe him when he actually took the Rooney Rule seriously. He's never had a black head coach. He's had an interim for a minor period of time. He's never had a black head coach.
Yep,
it's not a thing that he does.
Yeah,
and I think what gets him a pass is because he's now had 2 black quarterbacks. Quincy Carter, who it's a whole conversation, and now Dak. I think that's supposedly his quote unquote pass, but just like I remember his comments during when Kaepernick was kneeling and that whole
Yeah.
situation was going down. I remember seeing him last year at the Arkansas, be like,
Right.
where y'all niggas going? Like, no, dude. Jamel is spot on here.
Yeah.
This is a situation of a dude that has been called out multiple times for the way he treats race issues.
Yep.
And a dude that was indeed born on third thinking he hit a triple.
Yeah.
He didn't. If you were putting it in terms of what he had, let's just call it, let's say the family's worth $6 million. That's not how that works, but let's say the family's worth $6 million.
Sure.
He's now a multi-billionaire. So if you want to compare those two,
right.
Yes, you have if up to bat is $6 million and you're worth like $5 or $6 billion now,
yeah,
that's hitting a grand slam if I've ever heard it. But when you're actually talking about people that don't have a pot to piss in, when I think about, like, I'm not the biggest Tyler Perry fan, but when I think about Tyler Perry living in his car, owning literally nothing but his car, and now he is a billionaire, that is somebody that, like, was flying on a wing of a prayer and made it work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's weird when people, because I mean, probably in his mind, you know, $1 million. I got executive VP. That's a father-son thing. You know, the nepo baby stuff. Sure, Tommy boy shit. I get it, but that gave you cachet to get $1 million. You can actually do a lot with $1 million, especially at that time, to start a pizza chain. Not $1 million nowadays, which isn't that much. But it's still nice to have. But $1 million back then was really a lot of money to be able to invest. So it gives you a leg up on the competition. You can spend more on advertising. You can hire better people who are more qualified to make up for your shortcomings as a business leader. You can do all these things. So this idea of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps when you get $1 million advance is ridiculous on so many levels.
I gotta ask you, did you ever watch the show Ballers?
Yes, of course.
Did you watch
Entourage for sports people?
Yeah. Did you watch it all the way to the end?
Yes.
So I actually just rewatched Ballers.
Okay.
I just finished my rewatch this morning.
Yeah.
And that last season is when they convince Spencer Strasmore, they convince The Rock to become an owner. And he becomes NFL the owner of the Chiefs. And then when he comes through and he not only gives Patrick Mahomes the largest deal in NFL history at the time, and they're pissed about that, he then is the one that's like, we need to give lifetime health care to any player that's played 3 years or longer. And the Jerry Jones character, whose name is Boss Man, which I'm like, bro, they're not even trying to hide the racism here. But his name is Boss Man. He is not having it. He is not having it at all. And fortunately, I wish sometimes that the real world was more like TV shows and movies. Not always, because some movies end pretty bad. But in this case, by the end of it, Boss Man is like, it's too late to clear my conscience, but it is the right time to do the right thing. Yeah. If all of a sudden I actually did see Jerry Jones put his money where his mouth was, and he was leading the charge to actually get Magic Johnson in his ownership or whatever black individual is like vying for that, that'd be one thing. But they just sold the Panthers, and that was kind of black. And Snyder, you guys just got rid of Snyder, right?
Yes, thank God.
There was also a black group that was trying to get in that too, and that was kind of like, no, we don't want you. We take this person. Like,
he had some questionable financial stuff in his background, but I mean, Magic Johnson is part of the ownership group now, and so we do have Magic Johnson as a part.
So he is a part of the ownership.
Yes,
group.
Magic Johnson is a part co-owner of the Commanders. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But the other guy, Davis, I think he was a bit. He had some unsavory financial stuff in his background that I think made him not.
That's fine.
But yeah, we do have Magic Johnson, so I think that's a good thing to own the Commanders. But yeah, Jerry wasn't one of these people pushing for Magic to be part of the NFL or supporting that behind the scenes. So yeah, you got to put your money where your mouth is. You got to walk the walk. Walk the talk is what I say. I know people like to say talk the talk, walk the walk. You got to walk the talk. You can talk that shit, walk it in actions. That's how you show it. Everyone can be, because it's popular to be on one side of the fence of an issue. But if you're not actually following that up with actual action, it means nothing. Absolutely nothing, you know? Mm-hmm. Anyway, I don't want to say what I want to say here. But anyway, all right. So we'll see what happens with that, and we'll see. But I think you're right. Jamel Hill has been very good at calling out Jerry when he's been out of pocket on some of these things for sure. All right, well, there you go. That's our episode here. Winston, anything more you want to bring up? We're good to go here.
No, that's pretty much it. You know where to find me at the Swaggy Blurred on all the platforms, man. I put out last week's first SVU, which was a continuation flashback episode from the very first one I did.
Really good.
Thank you. And I was debating which of the storylines to follow, which, by the way, you know what? Yeah. There's enough people here. If you see a storyline that you think that would be interesting, that's kind of funny, because I'm trying to watch all the games. I can't always get to them. If there's something crazy that happens, like the Geno Smith, oh my God, you see something like that?
Yeah.
Go ahead and tweet it at me just in case I didn't see it. Okay. So, because it just helps me with the script writing. But I think I had a pretty funny one that I'm going to be dropping tomorrow. So definitely keep it out.
I'm tweeting you this one. Joe Burrow, after signing his $275 million extension, is actually in disguise. I'm going to tweet you that one.
Oh, that's funny.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Absolutely. Please follow Winston and all the stuff he's got going on, guys. He's a great follow. Very funny guy, especially on TikTok. Watch his stuff on TikTok and follow him there as well. As for me, at The Rocha Says, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, the Outlaw Nation on Twitch. Subscribe to the Game Time channel down below. Please help us get to that 1,000 subscribers so we can get super chats in and support the show even more. We appreciate it. Thanks for the lively chat. Thanks for the Streamlabs. You guys are the best. And we'll be back every week talking about the NFL. And Tuesday feels like the right time. Well, it's not about you, but I like this time. Should we lock it down?
Yeah.
12:30?
Yeah. We can do that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Good luck to your Arsenal this weekend as they take on Tottenham. It's going to be an interesting game. The Derby game that they got going on. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching here. You guys are amazing. Take care of yourselves. Be well. And we'll be back next week with another brand new episode of Game Time. Peace until then.